Welcome to SCF Essences. SCF Essences is a company that I founded together with my husband Santi, and we are making flower essences. And today I would like to share a little bit more about flower essences, about what they are and how they work exactly. Now, if you are a little bit new to flower essences, we actually cannot speak about flower essences without mentioning Dr. Bach. And so maybe you have heard of Bach flowers or Bach remedies, or maybe you've come across remedies, which you can buy very often in organic stores or in other health food stores. He is actually the one who sort of reinvented flower essences around the 1930s. Now, flowers work differently from the regular medicine that we know. So when we take an aspirin for a headache, this is like a chemical reaction. We take sort of chemicals in order to get rid of the headache. And flower essences work in a much rounder way. They work on a physical and emotional and a mental and a spiritual way in our bodies. And actually they don't work specifically like the chemics at all. They actually start to work of the circumstances. So why do we have the headache? And then it starts to show you, help with the elements that surround it. So if we are way too busy, we can take flower essences to actually clear our head a little bit, for example. So they work very strongly on these emotionally, mentally, and spiritual, emotional, mental, and spiritual elements. Much like you could actually see our body like an orchestra, and that is the many different elements in our body are like an instrument, and then also the surrounding elements are like instruments. And sometimes it happens that one of these instruments is playing a little bit out of tune. And when we start to take flower essences, it will actually help to harmonize this instrument and bring it back into tune, so that our whole surroundings in our body can start playing in tune, and create this beautiful symphony. And of course, when all these emotional and mental and spiritual elements are in harmony, this will have actually a positive effect on our physical being. So flower essences are energetic extracts of the benefits of flowers, which have been captured into water. So you can take these flower essences so that this energetic message can start doing its work and can support you in your being. And this can be, for example, to help you when you have a really difficult decision to make, to support you when your head is really full and you need to relax a little bit more, or to actually support you in having a little bit more humor and a little bit more fun in your life. So in which way our flower essences are working? And in order to, I would like to illustrate that by using the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. I mentioned him a little bit already. Maybe you've come across his pictures. He has on the internet, there's many of them. You find these beautiful pictures of frozen water crystals, and then there's words underneath there like harmony or love. And so what he actually found out is that water has a memory, and that it can actually store information. And he found this out by, for example, taking a glass bottle of water and to put words on it like love and gratitude, or sometimes they would play music to it. And then he would freeze a little bit of this water and then would make pictures of it. And they figured out that when this water had been infused with words like love and gratitude, or when music of Bach had been played to it, that the water crystals were beautifully harmonious, and they were shiny and very nice. But if the water would be infused with words of hate, or you disgust me, or really strong and heavy music, then the water crystals would be disformed and they would be not beautiful. And so in this way he could see that how water can actually store this information. But then in the next scientific research that came after it, he also figured out that it can share this information. So if they would have a little bit of this water which was infused with gratitude, and they would put it in a normal bucket of water, that actually the entire bucket of water would take the crystals with the infused gratitude. So the whole bucket would now become with beautiful crystals of gratitude. So in this way we can actually start to see more easier how flower essences work for us. So if we have a flower essence, so here there's the infused water of the plant which is in here, and then we actually add a little bit of brandy to preserve the water. If it would just be water, it would keep the information for about a week to 10 days. And if you add a preservative to it, much like you make jam, for example, it can keep for a whole bunch of years actually. And by taking a few of these drops, they come very often in dropper bottles or in little sprays. And it's nothing more than we can take these drops a few times a day, just under the tongue or in a glass of water. Or it is even possible, if you really don't like the alcohol of it, to just put a little bit on your wrist a few times a day. And then much like perfume, just put it a little bit behind your ears and on your wrist and rub it in. That they start to work just like putting a little bit of this infused water in a bucket, because we consist out of 60 to 70% water. So when we take flower essences, all the water inside of us will start to take the message of the flower, and in this way the flower can start do its work with us. But if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the work of flower essences on our being, then I invite you to try them out, for example. Like if the begonia, for example, is a really nice flower essence that works when there's too much information coming in all the time. So our head is too busy with way too much information, which happens a lot now when we take in the news all the time. Or when we're spending way too much time on our phone and on social media. And begonia then helps us to sort of create a little bit of distance, and even maybe give us the insight that it's okay to have a little bit more moderation where it comes to our intake in news. Now, if our mind is just circling around one specific subject all the time, you know how it can just turn and turn and turn and turn and come back to that same subject, and it's like a vicious circle. Then you have the really nice essence of plantain, which will help you to cut through these vicious circles. Then we also have the essence of lilac, for example, which is really nice. It's a very light and humorful kind of essence, so it will help us to bring a little bit more lightness back when we've been a little bit too on the dark side for a while. We're really happy. I'm really happy. I'm going to share many more plant stories. I'm filled with plant stories with you, and we invite you to have a look on our website. Thank you. Bye.